Hey there, John.Hunter. I'm back again this week talking about the new Fannie Mae Freddie Mac loan limits for 2024. Now, these loan limits haven't exactly come out yet. It's just an estimate. They came out a few weeks ago saying this is what they believe the new limits will be for next year. New American Funding, we are enacting or honoring those new limits right away. Now, one of the reasons why we can kind of get away with doing that is historically these estimates that come out early are just that, they're estimates, and the actual numbers that will come out in December typically are slightly better. That's been the case in the past. It was last year, year before. So we anticipate the actual numbers when they do come out in December will be better than this, but they did go up. So about 3.2%. So what they're estimating it to be is going from, what was it, 726,200 in 2023 to $750,000. Now, this is the conforming limit nationwide. So that's all counties across the country are a minimum of 750 going forward. Now, if you are in a high cost area, Alaska, Hawaii, specifically, those two states in general are both considered high cost. But there's also other regions in the country that are considered high cost, and those areas are higher. For example, here in Washington State, the current limit is 977 and change. Don't know the exact number. I think it's 977,250 is what you can do in King, Pierce, and Snohomish County. But if you go to any other county around it, it's all the current limit, which is 726, 200. So we're going to 750, which means that high balance limit should go in King County if it increases equally to 1,800, 1,008,980 estimate, right? Chances are it'd actually be a little higher than that. Nationwide, though, the limit, say like in Alaska and Hawaii and some of the other pockets that are slightly higher cost areas than here in Washington, if you live in one of those, the new cap is going to be 1,125,000. So that's the new cap nationwide for a single family residence. It's a little different on a duplex, triplex, and fourplex. The cap is going up to 960,300 in a median cost for a duplex. It is 1,160,750 for a triplex and 1,442,600 for fourplex. And that's not high cost. That's just the base across the country. So, like I said, that is going to be coming out in December. The official number should be a little bit higher, and it will vary based on the high cost areas. They may add a couple high cost areas, they may take away. It's hard to tell when they come out for official 2024 numbers. We'll know. So, just show a little something interesting that I saw in researching this. Let's take a look at this map here for the limits for 2000, the beginning of 2000s up till current date. If you look at this map, one of the things that really jumped out at me when I looked at this map was 2006 to 2016, the values were stagnant. It stayed at 417 for the longest time, for a decade. And then you see that from 2016 till current, you see this really steep increase in the loan limits month or year after year. And really that's due to appreciation and inflation. The last few years, I mean, we were just, it almost doubled in the last couple of years. It's kind of crazy on how fast it's gone up. So, and we've literally doubled since, almost doubled since 2016. So that's pretty impressive if you look at that historical chart there. So now, why does this matter? Why it matters is this is the difference between a conforming loan, which the word conforming means conforms to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac guidelines. And non-conforming means doesn't conform to that, right? Jumbo loans fall into that non-conforming criteria. So you have to stay within these loan limits for your area, which will be 750 and below if you're in a median cost area, and up to 1.125 million for a high cost area to be considered conforming and conventional. So conforming conventional really is the 750 and below, and then the high balance conforming is anything, up to that 1.125, whatever your area deems, and below for that. So if you fit that box, you can stay conventional. Well, why does that matter, right? Well, mostly it's that when you get out of the conforming world, guidelines and rates all change, right? Guidelines get stricter. The debt to income ratio is lower on jumbo loans. The down payment requirement, minimum down payment, is higher. The credit score requirements are higher. It across the board, it's a stricter loan, and rates typically are also higher on those loans. So that's why you really want to fight to stay in that conforming world. If you can, you're going to get a better deal. The terms are better. The money is cheaper for the lenders, so they're obviously more apt to lend. Right now, with the environment that we have with the banks are hesitant on lending their own money, which is what jumbo money is. Everything that doesn't fit this conforming world is the bank's own money. And right now, the banks are not hip on lending, so they've tightened up their criteria and they're cherry picking. So staying in the conforming world here in the beginning of 2024 is going to be important to be getting the best deal. So to give you an example, if you purchased a home and a conforming and you want to go minimum down, now with the new limits, you can be looking at a home all the way up to $789,400 with 5% down. Staying in the conforming world, that's a loan amount of $750, and you can put 5% down. Now, if you can go all the way up to $1.2375 million, putting 10% down, and stay in the high balance conforming world if you're in an area that allows high balance. So that's a massive difference, because most of the time, most conventional loans, or most jumbo loans, that is, there's a couple of exceptions to this, but they're even more expensive, is you need to put 20% down on a jumbo loan. So in the past, if you're buying a $780,000 house, you could not put minimum down. You had to put enough down to get to that conforming limit. Or if you're high enough, you'd have to put 20% down. Where with these higher limits, it just gives you more flexibility. And that's why it's important. And that's why we pay attention to it every year. Now, one last little tidbit too. We're talking conventional loans, right? But these loan limits do affect FHA and VA loans indirectly. So in a lot of areas, in high cost areas, they allow what they call a high balance FHA loan, and they allow high balance VA loans if you're using bonus eligibility. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you know that VA doesn't have loan limits. If you've never used your VA eligibility, or if you have full eligibility, this really doesn't apply. But one of the numbers that I factor in when I'm factoring in what your bonus eligibility, say like for a second VA home, or say your eligibility has a loss suffered against it because of a short sale or something like that, we factor in the county limit. So these county limits going up means on a VA, you will have a higher bonus eligibility, and you'll qualify for more on a VA for a second loan if you don't have full eligibility. So it does affect VA. It also affects FHA. All of those limits just went up because of this. Now, one little caveat, we are accepting these limits right now in 2023 till the end of the year. And once they announce the permanent limits in December, we'll use whatever that number is for conventional. But for FHA and VA loans, those new loan limits will not take effect until loans started on January 1 or later. So most lenders will use when the FHA or VA case number was ordered, and that usually needs to be January 1st or later, or they won't accept those new limits. So ran into that a few years ago where I had a lender accept an FHA loan where the case number was ordered in late December. We closed it, ended up being an uninsurable loan, and it was because of the case number. It was a real problem. So they don't really allow that, and it's a no-no. So those limits will apply, FHA, VA, in 2024. Up until then, conventional all day long. Hopefully this was helpful. A little bit of tidbit about changes that we're seeing. 3.2% increase. There is some appreciation still going up. The fact that it didn't stay the same or even go down is a good sign. I think the market is healthy and will get healthier when rates come back around. Stay tuned. for my rate update every week. It's on Fridays. Hopefully you'll come back and watch that. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to reach out. I would love to talk to you. John Hunter, I'm your mortgage guy. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.